The movie begins in the year 1913. We are introduced to a man named Sapala, who works as a sled dog musher. Because of this, he owns many well-trained dogs of different breeds. One day, a litter of puppies is born in Sapala's home, including a small, frail Siberian husky. This particular pup was noticeably weaker than the rest, and Sapala believed it would be useless for sledding. He didn't want to keep it, but his wife, Constance, felt differently. To her, the puppies were like her own children, and she insisted the little one deserved a chance. After some convincing, Sapala agreed with his wife, and together they named the pup Togo. As time passed, Togo began to grow, but he was also turning out to be extremely mischievous. He lacked discipline and was constantly causing trouble. Constance encouraged Sapala to start training Togo as a sled dog, but Sapala didn't believe he had the potential. He even told her the time had come to say goodbye to Togo. Eventually, Sapala gave Togo to a close friend, thinking the dog would be better off elsewhere. However, Constance already knew how unruly Togo was, and suspected no one would be able to manage him. Sure enough, the very next day, the friend returned with Togo, saying he was far too naughty to keep. Sapala wasn't thrilled to see Togo back, but Constance was overjoyed. Togo kept interfering in all of Sapala's activities. Whenever Sapala trained with his sled dogs, he would confine Togo in a pen. But as soon as Sapala left, Togo would dig under the fence and escape. In no time, he'd find his way to the training grounds where Sapala was working with his team. As soon as Togo arrived, the other dogs would stop training and start playing with him, throwing everything into chaos. One time, Sapala even fell into the water because of Togo's antics. Frustrated, Sapala locked Togo in a room the next day, hoping to stop the disruptions. But somehow, Togo escaped again and made his way right back to the training area. Fed up, Sapala handed Togo over to a strict woman who promised to keep the dog indoors at all times. Sapala left Togo with her and went on his way. But not long after, Togo broke through a glass window and ran straight to the same training field. When Sapala saw him, he noticed Togo had injured his paw. He tried to put Togo on the sled and take him home, but Togo refused to sit. Instead, he wanted to run with the rest of the dogs. Reluctantly, Sapala let him run alongside the team. After a while, he realized that Togo was running faster than all the other dogs. Impressed, Sapala stopped the sled and moved Togo to the front of the team. With Togo in the lead, the sled dogs picked up speed and made it home quickly. Sapala is very happy and surprised by Togo's work. He tells his wife that he is not only a sled dog but also a lead dog. He left all the dogs behind in the race. Constance is very happy to hear this, because Sapala had also started liking Togo. After Togo becomes the lead dog, Sapala wins all the championships happening in his city, due to which Togo and Sapala very soon become famous in the whole city. Slowly time passes and now 12 years pass. One day in the year 1925, when Sapala comes back to his city with his dogs, then his friend Dan tells him that an epidemic has spread in our city, whose name is diphtheria, is a disease due to which the health of many children present here is suddenly deteriorating, and many children have died too. So the mayor of the city calls an emergency meeting. Sapala also comes to that meeting. It is told in the meeting that there is an antidote for that disease, and that antidote is in Nuwada, 600 kilometers away from here. The people there cannot send that medicine here by helicopter, because soon the weather here is going to get very bad. I ask Sipa about the weather. SP says that today when I was coming back home, I saw on the way that a storm was going on far away from the mountains, which is slowly moving towards our city. Seeing that storm, all my dogs were running towards the house in fear. Togo has done this for the first time in 12 years, so if he is afraid of that storm, then we should also be afraid of him, because that storm is going to be very terrible. However, I wanted Sipa to go to Nuwada with his understanding dogs and bring that medicine here, but Sapala came here without giving any answer. Sipa leaves, and when he comes out, a doctor asks him for a lift. Sipa gives lift to that doctor and he takes him to his hospital. When Sepa looks inside the hospital from the window, he sees a lot of children inside who were fighting with their disease, and their condition is very critical. They could not be saved without medicine. When Sepa comes to his home at night, he tells his wife that I will definitely go to Nevada to get medicine. But his wife did not want this because she knew that going 600 kilometers away in such dangerous weather would be like committing suicide. But Sepa says that I will have to go to get the medicine because all the children I have seen in the hospital know us, and I will also take Togo with me. But his wife says that Togo is now 12 years old and you yourself said that he cannot travel even 115 miles. And the journey you are going to go on is of 600 miles. You love Togo very much, and I do not want that. You will be responsible for Togo's death. But Sepa did not want to go without Togo. Next morning, Sepa bids goodbye to his wife and leaves for Nevada. As Sepa was moving forward with his dogs, the storm was also getting stronger. The storm has such strong icy winds that Sepa could not see anything ahead. Go was in the lead, and Sepa continuously asks his dogs to move forward because he has to reach Nevada as soon as possible and bring back the medicine. They are on a very steep slope when Togo stops. Sepa does not understand why Togo stopped, so when he gets down and looks, he sees a very deep ditch in front of him. Togo had seen this ditch even in such a dangerous storm, so he stopped here, due to which he saved the life of Sepa and the other dogs. Sepa sees here that Togo's leg is injured and blood is coming out from inside. Now, after traveling for the whole day, these people reach an outpost. At this place, she is a doctor and tells Sepa that your dog Togo is very tired. Actually, Togo was 12 years old and such a long journey is not good for him. But the next morning, Sepala and his leading dog, Togo, along with all the other dogs, were continuously moving forward in this snowstorm. On the other hand, we see that the health of those children was continuously deteriorating in the hospital, and Sepala is continuously moving forward. He wanted to reach Nevada as soon as possible by taking a shortcut, so that he could take that medicine. While moving forward, a frozen lake comes in front of them, walking on which could prove to be very dangerous. And moreover, a very terrible storm was also coming towards them from the front. But Sepa is not afraid of this. He tells his dogs to move ahead. Togo moves forward, leading all the dogs. The frozen ice on the sled was cracking due to moving, but Togo crosses that lake running very fast. Now, after traveling the whole day, they stop at another outpost, where now they will spend their night there. Meanwhile, we see Sepala's wife visiting the mayor. She's informed that the medicine has been dispatched from Nanana and that Sepala will likely receive it on his way. But she expresses concern. She knows that Sepala would be taking a shortcut, and if he doesn't cross paths with the person carrying the serum, he'll keep moving forward, possibly missing the exchange point and extending his journey even more. On the other hand, we see Sepala, who sets off again early in the morning with his dogs. Although Togo is in very bad shape, he still refuses to stop. Leading the pack, Togo keeps pushing forward with incredible determination. Sepala continues to navigate through the shortcut route, unaware that if he doesn't meet the incoming team, he might reach Nanana himself, where the medicine won't be waiting for him. Sepala is completely exhausted, his eyes barely staying open, but the dogs keep charging ahead through the storm with lightning speed. Then we're introduced to a man named Henry, the same man bringing the serum from Nanana. He's heading towards Sepala, but because of the fierce winds, Sepala doesn't hear Henry calling out or see him. Henry shouts and chases after him, but Sepala continues on. Fortunately, Togo hears Henry's voice and stops. Henry, initially heartbroken thinking Sepala missed him, then sees Sepala turning back. Togo had made him stop. Henry hands over the life-saving medicine to Sepala. They rest at an outpost nearby. Seeing how badly injured Togo is, Henry advises Sapala to leave the dog behind. He tells him that he's already lost many of his own dogs to this harsh storm and doesn't want Sapala to suffer the same. But Sapala refuses. He says, "Togo is my lead dog. Without him, I can't continue. Now it's time for the return journey." And to get back quickly, Sapala must cross the same frozen lake they had risked before. This shortcut had saved them time, but it's now even more dangerous. If they avoid it, their return would be delayed by an entire day. Sapala decides to go ahead across the lake. He commands Togo to lead the team. Togo dashes forward, guiding the sled with incredible speed. But the lake ice has started to crack, and water begins to emerge through the fissures. If they don't make it across in time, they'll all fall into the freezing water. Togo and the rest of the team run as fast as they can. They make it to the far end, but just as they're nearing safety, the piece of ice beneath them begins to drift away from the shore. Now they're stranded, surrounded by water. Acting quickly, Sapala picks up Togo and throws him onto solid ground, urging him to pull. Even in his injured state, Togo gives everything he has, straining with all his strength to pull the floating ice slab toward the shore. Miraculously, Togo succeeds. The ice slab reaches the bank, and Sapala and the rest of the team safely step off onto solid ground once again. They finally make it out of the frozen lake, saving everyone's life. After this, they arrive at the same outpost where the female doctor was stationed. When the doctor sees Togo, tears fill her eyes. Sapala asks what's wrong, and she tells him that Togo is dying. His condition is extremely serious. Sapala is heartbroken hearing this because he truly loves Togo. After spending the night at the outpost, they prepare to leave the next morning. This time, Sapala doesn't tie Togo at the front of the sled. Instead, he places him on the sled, knowing how weak and exhausted he is. But Togo doesn't want to sit. He gets up and limps back to the front, refusing to rest. Sapala tries again, but Togo still insists on leading. Seeing this, Sapala understands. Togo doesn't just want to pull the sled, he wants to finish what he started. So Sapala lets him lead. As they travel, the storm becomes so intense that Sapala can no longer see ahead. He turns to Togo and says, "I can't see the way. You have to guide us now." Then he wraps himself completely and hangs onto the sled, placing all his trust in Togo. Hours pass, and eventually, Togo stops. Not just Togo, but all the dogs lie down, completely worn out. Sapala tries to urge them on, pleading with Togo to get up and move forward, warning that if they stop now, they could all die. Just then, Sapala sees a light approaching. A man with a red tent arrives. It's the next outpost. Togo had led them straight to it. Sapala is overwhelmed with emotion. Togo had once again saved everyone's life. Inside, Togo collapses. He's completely drained of energy. A man named Gunnar, sent by Sapala's wife, was waiting there. His job is to take the medicine from Sapala and deliver it to the town where the children were still fighting the disease. That night, everyone rests. In the morning, Gunnar leaves with his team of dogs and the medicine. After a few hours, he reaches the city of Nome. There, a reporter was already waiting. News had reached New York that a sled dog team had traveled 600 miles through deadly storms to deliver medicine for sick children. The reporter assumes that Gunnar is the one who made the full journey. He publishes a story in which Gunnar's name is printed. Sapala is not even mentioned. Sapala's wife is deeply disappointed by this. Meanwhile, Togo recovers enough to return home with Sapala and the rest of the dogs. Back in Nome, many people come to thank Sapala and Togo. The children they saved also come to see them. One little girl looks at Togo and asks, "Is he going to die?" Hearing this, Sapala steps out, unable to hold back his sadness. Constance follows him. He tells her, "Togo is in this condition because of me. He was 12 years old. I should never have taken him with me." But Constance replies, "Do you really think anyone else could have done what Togo did?" Sapala says nothing, because deep down he knows, it was only possible because of Togo. The next day, Sapala takes his sled team for practice. When Togo sees this, he doesn't want to stay behind. Limping, he follows Sapala. That's when Sapala realizes, Togo doesn't just want to run, he wants to be with him. After a few days, Togo makes a full recovery. Sapala starts going on long rides with Constance and Togo again. Over the next 2 years, Togo has many puppies. People from all over come to adopt them. This line of dogs is later named Sapala Siberians. Togo passed away in 1929. Even after his death, Sapala continued training sled dogs. Though Togo was famous in Alaska, the credit for the 1925 Serum Run went to another dog, Balto. A statue of Balto was even erected in New York. But what many didn't know is that Balto was also trained and raised by Sapala. It wasn't until 2011 that Time magazine finally honored Togo, calling him the most heroic animal of all time. And with this, the film comes to an end.